How do we handle conflicts? I tell you to stop talking.
And then
That's
we
how we
laugh.
handle conflict in our house. Right?
Yeah, that does happen.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Purpose Over Pleasure. And today is the his and hers version. And I have my
Yay.
lovely girlfriend here with me.
Hello.
She's back
I'm back.
from the episode.
Yes.
We have one unreleased.
And we
Might never be
probably might not.
But this is gonna be a good one. This is gonna be a good one because today we are going to be discussing some very important topics. Actually, one topic, relationship. We were gonna dissect multiple parts of a relationship, right? The discussion topics that are healthy, that should be talked about and discussed between the couples, right? So today we are discussing relationship topics. We picked the 4 that we believe are very important, the 4 that had helped us establish a successful, a happy, a healthy, loving relationship. And we're just going to share what we have and what worked and is working for us with you guys. So let's jump right into it. So first one is going to be, you pick the first one. Trust and infidelity. Ooh.
Should I start or should you
No,
start?
go ahead. I want to hear you talk.
All right. So, about a week before I met you,
Yeah.
I was cheated on.
Fresh.
But of course, I think it was not until, oh, maybe we'll go into that afterwards. But yeah, so I was cheated on and I cried for 3 days.
Straight?
No,
Intermittently?
no. I had my days. I was very emotional. Of course, going through the whole heartbreak. I couldn't eat. I was just questioning what was going on and all this stuff. So, got into some books, and then I remembered who I was. And I remembered that it didn't happen to me, it happened for me. And a week later, I went back to the job that I had quit. And God had other plans for me.
Yeah. We talked about connecting the dots looking backward.
Yeah. So I was there for 2 months. And when I look back, I had no business being out there. I was asked to be a general manager, which I did a really good job. I did everything for that place. I did help a lot, but I didn't do that same position after I left. So when I look back, I'm like, I think the only reason why I was there was to meet you.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
No, I believe in that.
Yeah.
And see, you were cheated on. My last relationship before that was with a woman who's been cheated on. And that shit affected her. But she never got over it. So it affected our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It ruined her self-esteem.
Oh, it can.
That jealousy was suffocating.
Insecurity.
Insecurity. Yeah, well, it stems from insecurities, but also not making peace with that trauma. And yeah, that shit would not have worked out. Like, I was the biggest mistake that I've made in that relationship is, and I don't consider that relationship. Here's a child. She can't be without you. This is our pet. She can't be without her mom for 5 fucking minutes. But I love her too. Anyways, going back to it, jealousy was suffocating me. And the one thing that I should have done in that relationship, and I don't regret that relationship, but I learned a lot from it. And what I could have done better, which again, I don't regret it. What I learned from it is that, you can only compromise so much. As a matter of fact, you shouldn't compromise certain things at all, period. Like from the very beginning. Yeah, I was pretty opposite when I met you.
And that was how long after?
That was like a year after.
So
Yeah.
back to when I think it was shortly after I met you. I think it was within the month you had asked me, so when was the last time you had a boyfriend?
Yeah.
It was through a text message, and I looked at the message, and I was in the kitchen, and clearly remember hearing myself say, Nicole, you can either not tell him because he's going to think that he's your rebound, or he's going to have all these thoughts and assumptions and his own opinions, or you can just tell him the truth. Because if you lie to him, down the line, you're going to have to end up telling him the truth, and then he's not going to believe you, and then you're going to just ruin it. So you might as well just get over it, tell him the truth, and what he does with that information is completely up to him. You know that you had integrity, and you knew that you had nothing to hide, and that you're being honest with him, and you will go from there. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, but there was no bridge to cross.
But you could have been insecure.
Yeah, but I didn't care. I remember you asked me one time if that really influenced my decision. I remember I thought about it once, like
Mm-hmm.
on during one of my drives, on a drive home or something. I don't know. I was driving. I was thinking about it. I was like, only because I've had
Right.
multiple rebounds.
Right.
Without realizing that they're just rebounds. But I know I heard more than one woman out there. Surprisingly though, it didn't worry me with you. I was like, well, I'll take my chances.
Mm-hmm.
And she was honest.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think that's why it's really
I
important
didn't
to have
care.
integrity.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably would have worked out for the worse for you if you had
Yeah.
not told me and then I found out.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. Like, I don't have low self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
I have enough confidence in myself. It's like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not afraid to take a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And you know me in a
Yeah.
lot of things. Fuck it. It is what it is. Like my coach Byron Overstone says, run the play. Shout out to my coach Byron Overstone and Nate Yamasaki.
So
Battle ready.
you had witnessed both ends, right? So both your past, your relationship prior to me had gotten cheated on, and you were with her for how long?
2 years.
2
Yeah, it was
years.
2 years.
And then you meet somebody. Did you ever think about, like, oh shit, here we go again?
Nah.
No?
I didn't give a shit.
That's good.
You know me. Like,
Well, see, I didn't know who you were in the past. Sometimes that can haunt
Yeah.
somebody.
No, not me. Not me. And that's the thing. That's a lot. That's the thing that I try to tell a lot of guys out there. Like who gives a shit? You're gonna worry about something that may not happen.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, if you want to do it, do it. I don't have a regret from any one of my relationships because I know I've given it my best at the time. And after it didn't work out, after all of them didn't work out, at the end, I'll go through the stages of grief and breakup or whatever. Once it's done, it's done. Like, I don't have any regrets from any of them.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I did what I could. Yeah, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah. I think once you get to the mental state, knowing that I had to go through that relationship, I had to meet that person, I had to learn that from them in order to get to where I'm at now. And a lot of people want to keep beating the dead horse.
Doing the same shit.
Letting them continue to mistreat you. And that's what went through my head. I looked at the situation that I was in, and I said, I can either work past it and stay with him, but I'll never trust him. And then we're going to continue to argue, and it's just going to make me sick. Why do I want to do that? Why do I want to continue to repeat the cycles that I've done in my past? Okay, fine. it didn't mean anything. Because technically, in his words, I didn't do anything. I was just texting people. Well, that was emotional for me. The fact that you even had the energy to do that, then if you don't value me for who I am now, then why would I think that you can value me after you did this? And that was it. I just cut it. I had no regrets. Of course, everything happened for a reason. It was great while it lasted, and then that was it. Just move on. Somebody else is going. I think that all your past relationships, even friendships, it teaches you something, and it makes you a better person for the next person that comes around.
100%. But that's on you to decide, though. See, speaking for myself, every following girlfriend had a better version of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like you right now have the ultimate best version of boyfriend that I am, right? So every single one before that, had a better version.
Oh, yeah.
But that was my decision to become better.
Yep.
Number one, first and foremost, I told myself a long, long time ago, I will never settle.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even consider the idea of settling, and I applied the same thing to life and everything in life, whether it's job, whether it's relationship, whether it's friendships, whether it's whatever it is, career, dreams. Like, fuck that. Why? I don't understand people who want to settle. The concept of settling for me is not even in the picture. Like, I was today years old right now that I'm realizing that I never, ever thought about settling about anything in my life. Relationships, work, fitness, mental state for sure, business, never. And you know me.
Mm-hmm.
You're the first person to call me my bullshit, if it spills out. So the whole idea of people settling for shit just fucking irritates the hell out of me. But what I was surprised, genuinely surprised, when I started seriously dating you, is that you were not attached to my phone. Coming from a relationship where a person would check my phone and would find nothing, there was not a single time where she found anything of me even remotely cheating on her or being interested or potentially cheating on her. Mm-hmm. Of course, I had female friends. Of course, I had female co-workers. Of course, I talked to females, whether it's for business or something. Yes. But it was never for any kind of purposes of cheating or sexual desires. But that shit was there, and it was annoying. Mm-hmm. It was annoying. And from the very beginning, you know how I'm still the same way about my phone. Like, it's there, I leave it, my password. Like, I don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. I never did. Not in any one relationship. I don't have shit to hide. But that was never there. Like, you never, checked my shit.
I mean, coming from, I was the same. If I didn't have to go, I wasn't a person to go through anybody's phone. If I feel like I have to go through your phone, then I know it's over.
Yeah.
When I found out what was on his phone, I automatically told myself, if you get up and you check his phone, it's done. Like, there's no turning back from this. And I got up and I did. I looked at it. And again, this still shocks me how I found out what like, I've never gone through his phone to know his password. I mean, I would still ask you, what was your password? And I genuinely didn't know your password.
Well, my password was 6 digits. So
well, yeah, now I know because I intentionally remembered it.
Yeah.
But when he would tell me, I'm like, I don't care because I'm not going to go through it. But that day, that's how I knew I was supposed to find that, because I got the password in the first try. It was weird. So anyways, when I found all that, I was shaking. I was trembling. I couldn't sleep. I slept for 3 hours. I tell people a story. They're like, how? I just told my mom's story. And she's like, how did you go to sleep? It's another level of mentality that you have to get to. When you don't act on your emotions and you just quiet yourself, and because so many things are running through your head, you're going to jump to conclusions, you're going to assume things, and I'm like, there's too much going on in my head. I'm not going to wake him up.
Women love jumping to conclusions.
Oh yeah. And I just said, you're going to go to sleep. Slept for 3 hours.
You woke up pissed off and shit.
I did.
This motherfucker.
And yeah.
He has no idea what's coming to him when I wake up.
Oh yeah. But I woke up and I left. I went for a hike.
Wow. See, the person I dated would stay the fuck up at night till like 2, 3 in the morning, thinking, overthinking, jumping to conclusions, and then started to have the audacity to wake me up from my sleep. And that's, I was like, oh hell no, this shit ain't happening right now. So when it happened, I was like, I had enough. I remember that one day, same thing. I woke up, I went to the gym. At the gym, I made a decision that it's done. I come back and I was like, all right, so I gotta go see my mom or some shit like that. And I was gonna go somewhere. When I'm done, please have your shit packed up and be out of here. Something along those lines. And I left. I came back. She was gone. Yeah. And I think we saw each other one time after that. And I was like, all right. It was like a beginning of the break. And it was like, nah, that was pretty fucked up of me to say.
Yeah, it was.
So what I said is this. After taking a little break, right? Obviously, it's normal when people try to work it out.
No, not for me.
And then, she ends up coming over and we're talking, and I hit her with, what, the last 2 weeks that I had without you was the most peaceful 2 weeks I had in last year. That's fucked up, I know. Oh man, that stung. But I kept it real. I said, "Is what is," and based on that,
because you could have said it through a text message. You could have FaceTimed it.
And yeah, it was sad. And I said, I moved on. Obviously, again, for those who think breakups are easy, I went through my stages of grief. It is normal.
Yeah, you have to.
Every breakup after a serious relationship, you go through stages of grief. Even if you made a decision yourself, you're like, I'm cool about it. It'll be like sometime after that, a month, 2 or 6 months, you're like, fuck, man, I miss her. But it's normal. You got to get over this shit. It's part of the program.
Growing pains.
Yeah, it's growing pains. But yeah, so those are the differences, Two, you and her both got cheated on. And she got cheated on way before you, like, years.
Yeah.
And then, and you turned out one way and she turned out the other way. So what I'm trying to say is that the same or similar trauma can affect two people in two different ways. But I think it is important to heal from your trauma. Because if you don't, that shit spills over to the next relationship, and the next relationship, and the next relationship until you fucking fix it.
Well, you have to face your demons at one point. Might as well face them when you're done with that chapter. Because when you... All
right, guys. I'll tell you why we're laughing. So, my studio doesn't have a door. It leads into the other room, but I have a curtain and a separator so our pet cat doesn't try to get in between the curtains and jump over. Next thing you know, her head is sticking out from the side of the door.
Now her
the
paw.
Side of the curtain where she has never entered before. So I got to give her credit. She's smart. I mean, she is making her way to her mommy. Like, oh my God, this animal is relentless.
I just want her to knock it down.
That's fine.
Sorry, guys.
If it does, it does. But
sorry, no,
pets are interesting. I love her. She's
sorry,
wild.
That was kind of funny. I'm like, what are you smiling about?
Sorry, that's sticking out.
I'm like, yeah,
it's just funny. But yeah. By the way, if you guys living together, or I think it's important to have a pet.
Yeah.
I think she's been a good helpful part of our relationship.
She definitely got me through some really dark times when I got her. And I think people overestimate that a pet can't do that for you.
Yeah.
I'm really afraid she's going to knock over that thing.
No, she won't. It's pretty stable. She's fine.
She's done it before. That's all I'm saying. But Yeah, she definitely was my part of my healing. And I think it's important. Anyways, so back to our topic.
Yeah.
So you experienced, I think you were discussing this with your niece a while back when we had dinner, and you had told her, look at my relationship. Look at what it taught me. Because that relationship could have corrupted you, and it could have corrupted the relationship that you and I had.
Yeah.
If you were weak-minded, if you were narrow-minded, if you held on to that type of personality,
Yeah.
that would have taken you down a dark path, a darker path, if you didn't have control over your own thoughts. Because I'm sure that when I told you that that happened to me, if your mindset wasn't as strong as it was and back then, or when I first met you, you could have had those, well, this happened to me in the past, or who's to say she's not going to do the same thing. So I think that is also very important, that people acknowledge that, hey, look, I can do better. I can be better. And journaling plays a huge factor in getting to that level, because you forget who you were, your thoughts.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, it's up to a person to decide whether he or she wants the trauma that they've gone through to affect them or not. It's easy to be a victim of the trauma that you've gone through, but it's hard to get out of it. Like, it requires work. It requires work. It requires talking to professionals sometimes, which I think is a good idea. I think everybody should be talking to and seeing professionals, because
Sometimes your
it's
friends
nah,
help.
nah, nah. I mean, friends are great. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong,
To a
but
certain extent.
there's certain level of trauma that other people just won't understand.
Oh, yeah.
Because in order for a person, in my opinion, in order for a person to really understand and be empathetic to what you're saying, is them having to go through the same thing.
Mhm.
But no two situations or traumas can be the same. And then you have a factor of that person's perspective on that trauma, right?
Mhm.
So you and her, for example, both got cheated on,
Mhm.
but you were a complete opposite than she was. She never got over that trauma. And because of that trauma, she became very jealous, very, what she used to call territorial, but it was straight up jealousy. Because I grew up in a household where my father was extremely jealous of my mother.
Mhm.
He was insecure, and that ruined their marriage. That ruined the family.
Yeah.
It was so to me. It was, and I kept telling her. To me, it was like, stop being so jealous. Stop being so jealous. Stop being so jealous. But she didn't listen, and she didn't want to change. So, it's over.
She
It was
fucked
over.
around, she found out.
Yeah, fucked around. She found out. But I think it's enough beating a dead horse. So, trauma, trust, infidelity. Yeah, you gotta get over the trauma and the
You gotta
infidelity.
trust yourself.
Yeah,
Because if you don't trust yourself, you're not gonna trust anybody else.
definitely. It's trusting yourself and being confident in yourself, and then going from there.
Yep.
Next topic of discussion in our relationship, which I think is important for everyone to discuss, right? Conflict resolution. How do we handle conflicts? I tell you to stop talking.
And
That's
then we
how we
laugh.
handle conflict in our house. Right?
Yeah, that does happen. Conflicts. I mean, I'm trying to think back when we had a conflict.
Well,
Sometimes your demeanor, because of your accent and
my European,
your European
my European, my cultural
yeah.
traits. Yeah, I think that's what you're
Yeah.
attributing it to. Because you've seen worse people
Oh,
from
yeah.
my cultures, but who have certain characteristics that are even worse than mine. But I worked on myself. I
Right.
still do, and that's why people a lot of times don't understand me, which my entire life I kind of not suffer with, but it was always in the back of my head, and I never really fit in,
Mm-hmm.
and into places
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times. But as I got older, I was like, first of all, I don't give a flying fuck
Mm-hmm.
if I don't fit in. But once I developed confidence in myself, I stopped giving a shit if I fit in or not. That was life changing. I think people are trying to fit in into groups, places, relationships because they don't have confidence in themselves. Like, I'm at a point in my life where I really don't give a shit. Like, I've experienced happiness being alone.
Mm-hmm. There's no competition.
There's no. As a matter of fact, it's fucking dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Once you learn how to be happy by yourself alone, you're like, no, there's peace of mind is important, which is what I told you from the very beginning. The
Mm-hmm.
peace of mind for me is extremely important.
Mm-hmm.
And in this house, it's going to be nothing but a loving, understanding, peaceful relationship. And whatever bullshit that comes.
I think because we both lived in a household that was very hostile, and we had um just the arguments and the negativity, where for me it was the same. I just couldn't do the arguing. I couldn't do the walking on eggshells and afraid to say something and be yelled at. Sometimes I've witnessed a few things where I'm like, oh man, I hope he doesn't yell at me.
Me?
hmm but it's not
I'm like,
you.
you've done
It's
something?
just something where I feel because it's a trigger of what happened to me in my past, like from family.
Oh.
So it's gonna come up. You're never fully healed. Some people think that this healing journey ends. It never ends.
No.
It's just levels to it.
Yeah.
And that level, because I've been cheated on in the past in high school. It was like something normal, I guess. I don't know. And I had to really think it through. And I'm like, this next person, if I use what happened in my past and put what that person did to me at the end of the relationship onto this new person, then you're not going to allow him to. They're two separate people. How is he going to cheat on me when he didn't know what happened? They're not two, like, there's no connection.
The connection can be the person who's carrying that trauma over.
Right.
Yeah. But we don't argue.
Mm-mm.
We've had arguments.
Mm-hmm.
And in one of our first episodes, we discussed that when we hit our 1 year mark living together, we only argued like 3-4 times,
Mm-hmm.
and we resolved those. But I think a big contributing factor to that is obviously, love is a big factor, but also the fact that we worked on each other, on ourselves separately before we met. That's a big contributing factor. And also,
I think also
being adults about shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not taking it personal.
Yeah, we talk a lot of shit to each other.
But I was
these guys have no idea how much shit we talk to each other.
I was once told by my stepmom when I was in a really toxic relationship, and I remember her telling me, you gotta just pick your battles. It's supposed to be you against the world. You guys are a team. And that's, I think, what we've held on to. And I'm a firm believer. You're my partner. You're my teammate. I need to go to you for issues out there in the world. You need to come to me because you know me better. I know you better. I see different levels of you that other people see. And I've told you this before, where I know how you are at work, out in the streets. And when you're here, you're a completely different person. And we had a day where certain individuals were going to be around. And I just said, yeah, I don't know if I really want that version of you. So I'll let you handle that, but I just know that I know who you are. And
I don't take shit from people, and that's the thing.
But who you are isn't the same version that I know you are.
Well, it shouldn't be that way. I can't be the same person with you and then being the same person at work, and be the same person in business, and be the same person, like even on the podcast. Like I am as authentic as I can be. Obviously, I'm not gonna cuss as much as I do in real life. I'm not gonna talk smack to you right now as we do on a daily.
Why are you scared? Huh? Now that we're in front of the cameras.
Oh, you want to go at it? You really want to go at it?
Just kidding.
Yeah, I think it's important to separate that. At the end of the day, my core values, my character is the same. Like I wouldn't take shit from you. I wouldn't take shit from anybody else. I wouldn't take shit from my own mom.
Right.
And she knows it.
Right.
You know?
No, I understand that. But there's certain walls that I've noticed that go up. So although I get your perspective on that, but what I see is completely different. I don't know if you'll understand it, maybe not now, maybe later, but that's okay. You don't have to see the version that I see in you.
I'm not trying to see the
version. Yeah, exactly.
I don't have to see the same
right,
and that's the problem. A lot of these motherfuckers don't understand. They want to try to be the version of themselves that their girlfriends, fiancés, wives want them to be. Like, fuck that. Yeah. That's what I experienced in a relationship with the woman before you. I thought maybe if I try to understand and be the version that she wants me to be, this will help the relationship. Until finally I was like, fuck that. I'm going to be me. Because I am me, because I am the only motherfucker who got me to where I'm at today. Yeah. So I trust that dude. Like, I'm Gucci with him. He's brought me here today. He's the only motherfucker that has my back and will have my back for the rest of my life. You know, I've said goodbye to women before because I had to follow my dream. And I told you a story about that. You know, and it fucking sucked. And I had to go through the pain, but I made a decision. Dudes out there nowadays are fucking scared. They're whipped. They're scared. They're scared to talk back to their women. You know, they consider that saying "happy wife, happy life." You know, it's true. Bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit. Like, first of all, that saying was created by strong, confident men who are like, whatever, man. You know, she scratched the car, whatever. She wants this or whatever. You know, happy wife, happy life. You know. I'll have her stop talking to me. Like, but it's not like they drove him crazy. Right. Like, you don't drive me crazy, but you know, I wouldn't allow you to drive me crazy. But I do have to admit that I have learned about picking my battles from you. You always I would give you the respect and I will give you the credit for that. You know. And you knew from the very beginning of this relationship how to pick your battles with me. Because I'm not the easiest person to deal with. And I don't want to say it's territorial, because I don't want the people to believe that when you're a masculine man, you're like that. No. I always try to be a better person. I believe that when you try to become a better person overall, you will be a better partner for the right person. Because you can be a fucking perfect person, but for yourself, you can be a perfect person overall, great human being, but for a shit person, and that person wouldn't value you at all. So that can also happen too. But bottom line is, I always worked on myself, and I still do every day, 1% better every day. You know how I say it. But at the end of the day, it was on me to see that, and a lot of the arguments were avoided. And are avoided in this relationship, I think, is because you know. So I'm gonna say it two ways. You know when you keep your mouth shut, babe. I told you that before. Simply put. But what I mean by that, my love, let me break it down. For those who might call me misogynist, right? That is you being the wise woman that you are. You know when to pick your battles with me. Because I have certain days, you know, I operate differently. I'm a man. You know, I come with certain things in me. I'm not perfect, but I work on it. And I saw you do that with me, and I realized that I should reciprocate that back. And I think that's helping our relationship.
Yeah. And I think also where, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a situation where something happened, but there were times where I could have gotten on you for certain things, but I think about it I'm like, am I mad right now because it happened? Should I wait? Some people just want to say, well, fuck how they're feeling. Fuck how he's feeling. Fuck how she's feeling. I'm just going to say what I have to say. And I believe that you got to fill the room. Maybe it's not the time now. And there's been situations where I'm like, it's maybe not now. And I've
Yeah, you
explained that
told
to
me
you. Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah. Where I'm like, look, listen, you said this and I gave it some time because
Not cool, Alex. Not cool.
I want to process it because sometimes your emotions are involved, your anger is involved, your sadness is involved, and that those thoughts aren't always true. And I've learned that because sometimes I might not even feel that way anymore. So that's when they say sleep on it, and there are some things I'm like, look, I got to talk to you about this before I go to bed because I just can't.
Yeah.
But I know that I can't take it personal. That one time you had said something to me and I'm like, that's just his opinion. That doesn't make it true. That's just his views, his perspective. I know and I believe in myself. And when you believe in yourself and you believe in certain values, you can't always expect anybody else to understand them. It's like a foreign language.
But people have to, at a certain point, rise up to your standards.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
If people don't rise up to my standards, I would have to probably cut them off. And I've done that before. And I'm not saying everybody has to rise up to everyone's standards. No,
Right.
I just know that my core values are correct. And I don't mean bad to anyone. And genuinely inside, I'm a good person. I try to do good by people. I don't try to hurt anybody. And I know, I have standards. I know what my values are as a man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, why not have other people rise up to those standards?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm confident in myself. I know what's good. I know what's bad. For the most part. I mean, there's so much in the world that I don't know. But I know the concept of good and evil. Right. Positivity and negativity. And you know me, I don't allow negativity around me. Not to say that I'm scared, that I, keep myself in the bubble. Right. No, fuck that. I'll face any problem head on. I don't run from shit. But I prefer positivity to negativity.
Well, I mean, we all have to deal with it. Like, I sometimes deal with it at work. The negativity, the judging, the personal, like just girl talk. It can be very overwhelming. I'm literally a therapist that just sometimes I'm like, man, I don't get paid enough for this shit.
And then I have to listen about it.
Not all the time. There's certain things, that I'm like, hey,
babe,
you know what?
Do you know what?
No.
Yeah. You want to hear something? Whenever a woman hits you, babe, you want to hear something?
You better sit down, get some popcorn, maybe a glass of wine.
You're going to fucking hear about it. You're going to hear about it, so might as well get comfortable.
Sound interested,
pay attention. Yeah, be into it. But you're really quick.
But it also communicating this, because sometimes your opinion or your perspective on it may not be the same as what that person was saying. I know there's sometimes you discuss some things with me and then I kind of change it. I'm like, well, why don't you look at it from this side? And you kind of like, oh, because if it was somebody else telling you what I was telling you, because you don't really trust them and their opinions or their values, you're just not going to pay attention to them. But when you discuss it with me and then I share with you, okay, well, what if they didn't mean to do that because, I don't know, they're having a bad day, And sometimes that's what we forget. When you get cut off, we're so quick to get and take it personal. But when you have more empathy for this person, you don't know what's going on. You don't know if they probably just got broken up with because they got cheated on by, with their cousin. I don't know, something.
Ooh, that's nasty. I got cut off by an old man today. I laughed.
Right? You have to, because if you take
fucks.
it personal, it's just gonna stress you out. For what? I have to tell that to my dad. I'm like, Dad,
your pops is a road rager, man. That
like,
dude.
I love my dad, and he's just so accustomed to that old fashioned, like, he's gonna cuss him out, give him like the evil stare. I'm like, Dad, that's just gonna give you stress in your forehead.
Guys, please don't engage in road rage. There's nothing good that ever comes out of road rage. I've seen it. I've done it. I was dumb enough to do it. React. Never. Nothing good comes out of road rage. It is useless.
Yeah.
You know. But anyways, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next one is discussing personal growth. That's important. That's important because people remain stagnant a lot of times. Just today, when I was giving a presentation to the group, you know, the 5 bullet points that I told you after the call, what I discussed, the last one was comfort. Comfort. People get too comfortable. People get too sloppy. In a relationship, people get comfortable and they become stagnant.
Well, that's important to share goals.
Yes. Sharing goals with each other. We do that all the time.
Because the point of a partnership is to obviously grow. You plant a seed. What does the seed need? It needs soil. It needs water. It needs sun. It needs water. Did I say that already?
Yeah,
so,
I think so. As
a team, as a relationship, if you really want this partnership to last, you have to ask. You know, even when we first started dating, I would ask you questions.
You did?
Because I wanted to know where your mindset was. What's going through your head? What are your values? Where do you see yourself? What do you rate yourself?
Yeah, you hit me with those questions. You were the first woman I've ever dated or gone on with, had a conversation that hit me with that. What would you rate yourself? Never in my life have I thought of. I never gave a shit.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It's a thing. People rate themselves. It boggles my mind when I see these young girls rate themselves and they give themselves 10. Like, you're a fucking 6 on a good day with makeup on and possibly 2-3 drinks down in me.
Well, let me cut you off there. They rate themselves on a physical level. But if you ask them to write that down and write down their personal values, their internal, their self-esteem,
well,
it'll probably be something completely different.
-3.
Because if they say, oh yeah, I'm a 10, a lot of the times you might have the girls that are just brushing up under the rug the stuff that they don't really want to deal with.
But I'm talking about the ones who are clearly not a 10. Clearly not a 10. And just says I'm a 10.
Well, maybe that's what helps her get out of bed.
What about that video that went viral? A member of that transgender person or whatever, you know, is a pretty big girl, guy, girl, whatever it is.
She's sleeping around.
Yeah.
Being a hoe.
It was a different one. Oh. That one was, she was asked, "What are you?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm a 10. I'm slay. I'm a certified bitch," or something like that. Something stupid along those lines. You know, and it like went viral because it's like, dude, you're like a 2. Sit your ass down.
Well, see, it's entertainment for people.
Yeah, but it's sad. Like, I hope she said it for entertainment purposes, because if she didn't and she really meant it, that's delusion.
But you also have to remember, we're at an era where people are okay with getting their 15 minutes of fame by saying shit that is just mind-boggling.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I hope she said it for entertainment purposes.
You never know these days. They can change shit around. They can completely manipulate the whole conversation and cut it off and make it seem like that's what she said.
But me and you both know there's a big group of women out there, girls out there, and women too, that consider themselves 10 on a physical scale, but they're not 10 by far. And it's crazy because I'll tell you something. I'll let you in this little secret amongst guys, okay? I'll let you guys all in a little secret. Understand this. Understand that there are guys out there, okay? I would even say I'll put myself into that category, who have higher standards, who have certain status, I guess, in life, who accomplish certain things, which then in return allow them, who are confident and allow them to spend time and enjoy company of many women in their lives. So the standards are high. So when those guys see a 5 with full-blown visual, not internal, visual confidence saying I'm a 10, that makes you want to vomit. Because I wouldn't even talk to you, probably. Like, you'll be the last resort at 4 in the morning after a party and after party, and like, if I have to be like half a bottle deep, like, no chance, pretty much. So we laugh, and they don't understand that. There are a lot of guys out there who'd be like, all right, fine, I'll settle for that. But there's a lot of guys too who like, she's delusional. Like, there's no way on earth. Like, it's pathetic.
Does she have friends?
She must be the ugly one in the back.
Stop.
You said it.
I mean, come on, guys.
There's always a one.
I just heard this quote. I'm gonna probably break it up and mess it up, but if your friends are not telling you
that you're ugly,
that you need some work mentally, even physically, like, I know there's no real nice way to say, hey, look, you gotta go to the gym. But I'm that friend that would tell you like it is. I'd rather you hate me for being honest with you. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it. I have a friend that I love dearly. And I know she's going through some trauma. We all do. But I have to, it's not just about being skinny. It's not about being skinny. It's about being healthy. Yeah. You got to get yourself into the gym. You got to go find a hobby, hiking, going for a walk, something. Stay active. You got to eat baby steps.
Healthy. Yeah.
And that is going to help you with your mental state. 100%.
Yes.
Is when you get your physical body in movement in something, it does something to your mind that no money can give to you.
Well, it's a proven fact. Workouts, they create dopamine. Mm-hmm. It's a natural drug, natural feel-good drug. Mm-hmm. I have never, ever in my life, I am 34 years old, I've been working out probably since I was in my early 20s, maybe 20, 21, maybe 19 or something like that. I've never had a bad workout. I've had workouts where I've injured myself, mm-hmm. but it was never like, oh, I should have never worked out. Like, injuries are part of workouts. Mm-hmm. It happens. I had to learn the hard way multiple times. But no such thing as a bad workout. Never.
Well, back to that. I feel like there's a lot of facades, a lot of filters on a lot of these girls, even guys, but I think that a lot of people don't want to do the work. It's called the shadow work, in facing your demons.
Shadow work.
It's called shadow work.
Fighting your demons in the shadow?
No.
Where'd you pick
It's a spiritual thing.
Oh. Is it the work you do in the shadows?
No, it's not in the shadows. It's in bright daylight or with light. Yeah. You have to face it, because if you can't face your own demons, it's going to come up when somebody sees it and tries to tell you about it. So you might as well face your demons by yourself, so that when somebody else tries to bring it out in you, you're fine with it because you've already faced it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, yeah, I know I used to be that way. I'm not that way anymore. Okay, what's next? Hit me with something else, because that's not hurting me right now. I faced it. That skeleton, it's already dust now, because we shook hands, peaced out. Hey, Kuna Matata. Let's keep moving forward.
Just a few days ago, I posted. You see, I'm not sure if you saw one of my posts on my page. Mm-hmm. So you have to make peace with your demons. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, your demons will never let you be in peace.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It will come up. It will come up. at one point or another. Something will trigger it. Somebody will say something.
Mm-hmm.
You will see something.
Mm-hmm.
They will take you back. And for me, my trauma always took me back and always brought anger back. It never came out in a good way. It always came out as anger. And it was self-destructive. And up until I understood it and I faced it, I had no idea how to deal with it. Yeah. Besides being angry. And that's the same shit that a lot of guys out there struggle with. They're not taught. I was never taught. I did not have a male figure in my life who taught me how to make peace with my demons, how to channel my energy from anger to positive energy.
I don't think our parents or any I think for me, it's never been something that people deal with on both sides of my family. My mom and my dad, they would just throw that under the rug and hold grudges for like 20, 30 years, and they see each other and nothing. It's not common.
And you have a big family.
Or it's not. It is, yeah.
It is common. I love that you brought that up. That's the last discussion point for the day. Mm-hmm. Discussing family and social dynamics. So I love how you brought that up. That's exactly what I want.
Did we finish the other one?
Yeah, we talk about trust and infidelity, conflict resolution, personal growth, and the last one. This is obviously not the last one, but we picked the four today. The four that we're discussing, family and social dynamics are
the personal growth. I think the goals. I think it's important that you mention or you talk to me about what your goals are, and vice versa. Because if we're growing together and we start to grow apart, then there's going to be conflict. So if I'm not sharing with you what I want to do with my business or where I'm trying to go, I can't build an empire by myself. I need a team, and you're my first right-hand man. I have to go to you first, because if not, why did I make you my partner? No. It's not about the hugs, the kisses, the sex. It's not about that. It goes deeper.
Well, you like all of that too.
It goes deeper. It's a deeper connection. And that's why when people choose their partner, they fail to look at those things, or they don't pay much attention to those things. They just think, oh, well, the size is what matters. Well, I mean, is that size going to help you achieve growth in your life? Not really. It may just make it difficult for you to walk, but I mean, I don't know how that's going to help, So your partner, like we've discussed it in the past, your 5 closest people in your circle, or your people who you surround yourself with. You have to have those conversations with them too, because if they're your friends,
those are tough.
Those are like, you gotta, hey, so what do you want to do with yourself? I had to have that conversation with my friends. And again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I'm like, I don't think I'm any better than you, but I know where I'm at. I can be better. And I want that for you.
That's why I think people are scared. People are scared when you start making something out of yourself. Mm-hmm. And I still don't fully understand why. I believe it is because they don't have enough confidence in themselves, or they don't know how to. Yeah. They don't have the people around them who can show them how to. I've been blessed enough to have people around you who has mentored me and still mentoring me and teaching me and showing me the ways. Mm-hmm. And I give what I know to other guys who are younger than me and sometimes even older than me, mm-hmm. right? I like to share my experiences or the wisdom that I have now from my experiences. But having to tell your friend, like, hey, you're not better than me, I'm not better than you, I'm just different, that can scare a lot of people. And they can take it in a way that, well, no, you think you're fucking better than me.
But then it goes back to what they think is none of your business.
That one's hard to overcome. How are you going to overcome what your family thinks about you, what your childhood friends think about you, what your co-workers think about you, what your mentors and people you look up to think about you? And it's funny because I don't care what my mentors think about me. simply because I know they don't give that kind of shit to think about me. Does that make any sense? So, for example, let's take Kevin, right? My first business mentor, my now business partner, and a great friend of mine. I don't sit there and think about what would Kevin think about me if I did this.
Right.
What I do ask myself is, what would Kevin do in this situation?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when it comes to business or self-development. I'm like, what would Kevin do? Or what has Kevin taught me? Or what have I seen him do? What kind of move I've seen him do financially, in business, or in life? That's what I ask myself.
And you know why?
But I want to know why. I want your perspective. But I never ask myself, what would he think if I did that? I don't give a fuck, because I know he's not gonna give a fuck. And it's funny, not that he doesn't care about me, not that he doesn't love me. Like, I love the guy too.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. I know he means well.
Mm-hmm.
I know he knows I'm gonna try something and fail, but he just gives me an advice
Mm-hmm.
and helps me when I need to. So it's crazy. But the ones who really don't give a shit and don't matter, for some reason we tend to think about them. It's like, what would they think? Who gives a fuck what they think? Do what you gotta do with your life. You're the only person whose approval you will ever need. Focus on yourself. That part is hard to do.
I think it's because we're so accustomed to considering other people's feelings in our path of life. Our parents. That's a hard pill to swallow. I just recently had to do something
It's
like
a hard
that.
pill for them to swallow.
That too. And I had to tell my parents, look, I respect your values. I respect your vision on how I should live my life, but this is my life. I have to be the one to make mistakes in order to learn from them. You can't always hold my hand and expect to be on this journey with me. Having kids, I mean, we don't have kids, but I can only understand how it is as a parent. You have to learn to not be attached. And one of my aunts told me, your family is now your relatives. You and Alex are family.
Tia Gloria.
You have to build that. You are now a team.
A unit.
Because if we bring in our family into our home when they don't know our dynamics, it's just going to it's not going to be fun. It's not going to be pretty. Who knows if it's going to be ugly, but because their ways of raising the family that they know is a lot different than what we know, because back in the day, they didn't have the resources that we have now. So we have to do something about breaking these generational curses and trauma and facing them. So the uncomfortable conversations have to be taken place. They have to be discussed. I had to send the message to my dad. I love you, Dad, but you know what? I just can't live that life of, you want to be upset? That has nothing to do with me. I'm not going to put on that stress. Whatever it is bigger. You just need to seek therapy. You need to seek some type of healing. We all do. I had to. Because I don't want to continue to be angry. I don't want to be sick. Anger causes sicknesses.
It does.
And from
depression.
A spiritual side, I see it as, why do I want to? Who knows how long I have here? Why would I want to carry that type of energy while I'm trying to enjoy it? You know? So thinking about how if somebody's opinion is, oh, she's going to fail at her business, that's your opinion. If I listen to your opinion, and if I was weak-minded, then I'd probably go down that what you think of me. I mean, my own mother told me that, hey, look, I was afraid because I didn't want you to fail. I didn't want you to give up. Or I not that she didn't want me to give up, but she was just afraid for me because she's never been an entrepreneur. She's never understood that life. So she put that on me. That's not fair. Some people don't understand being an entrepreneur and the mindset and the mentality that you have to take on. It's not just the business, it's a whole mindset that you really have to take on. Thick skin from everybody around you, even the people in business. because you go in thinking, all right, here we go. And oh, look, here comes another one. It's like, hey, look.
Like my coach says, taking dick punches.
I mean, I don't have one, but hey, I'll take your word for it.
That's what we call it. No, that's 100% true. You have to understand that don't necessarily mean bad for you, first and foremost. You know, but they think they do, and they think what they want for you is good for you because they come from a place of love and care. However, sometimes you have to let other people's dreams for your life die in order for yours to live.
Did you guys write that down? Maybe you could pause it, rewind it, and do it again.
I didn't say that. I'm not taking credit for that, but that quote changed my life. So I applied that with my family and loved ones. To me, it was like, no, guys, sorry, but I know you mean well, but that's your dream for my life. And I know you come from a place of care and love, but you don't understand what I want from life.
It's just too much noise. It's a lot of noise. It's like a lot of bird chirping or a lot of crickets. It's like, just shut up. I already have my own thoughts going in on my head, going and trying to get it all done. And then when somebody else is telling me, oh, wait, you should do this. Oh, wait, no, you should do this. It's like, let me just go meditate for a little bit. Because everybody's opinions, that's why I said, we all have to be able to listen to our own thoughts. So if we don't listen to our own thoughts and we can't trust ourselves, then how do you get anything done? When you're always listening to a podcast or you're listening to a mentor, like, that's great. I respect that. Yes, we all should have that. But
I know you're talking about me right now.
At one point, we all have to be able to trust ourselves.
Yeah.
Because if you don't trust yourself, how are you going to get through life?
Yeah. That's funny because I said earlier, you're the only person whose approval you really need. That's exactly what it comes down to. You have to listen to yourself as well. But it's hard because people worry a lot too. And then worrying. What did I say earlier? I said that worrying keeps you distracted from seeing your dreams and your goals clearer and quicker. You said that.
Yes. Yeah. I like to use the term or the saying, worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do but gets you nowhere.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love that.
I always say that to myself and people who come into my shop and just, I'm worried about this. And I'm like, do you know you're just creating those stories? It hasn't even happened yet. And that is something we all have to learn because worry is instilled in us. When we first started dating, I remember one time you told me, you should worry about that. And I'm like,
about what?
I don't know, some financial thing. You're like, you need to worry about that. And I'm like, okay.
Different when it comes to finances.
Okay, so this is
I'm not saying worry to death.
No.
But you have to be on top of your finances.
Use different terms. I don't use worry in my
There's a healthy amount of stress that's necessary, and you can't be comfortable.
Nobody ever.
I said that. You need stress in your life, a healthy amount of stress. Now it's subjective of how much stress one can take. Okay. Because I can take
challenges. I like the word challenges.
Challenges. Okay.
I don't like stress.
Great. Stress is created from a challenge, right? So stress is something you create for yourself when you encounter an obstacle or a challenge. Okay. Are we good on that?
Sure.
And that's why I said it's subjective. You can face the same problem I can face, but we can react to it different.
Right.
I know people for whom my fucking month-long problem is a Tuesday post-lunch afternoon problem with a 5-second decision how to solve it.
Very long. How did you come up with that?
Because I've seen it. I've learned that like the shit that I can be worried about for a month.
Right.
Somebody that I know will be like, do that. problem solved.
Right.
Or
but
can you
do
do
you
shit about it?
understand
No.
that worrying does nothing for you? You don't need to worry. Like, I know we're going to always agree to disagree on this term, but I don't use that in my vocabulary because to me it has a negative connotation, a negative I don't know what word I'm trying to say. It's just the
but
vibes.
I don't worry. So
Right. I understand
I
that.
look at everything as a challenge.
Okay,
And there's a
right.
better version of me on the other end of it. Once you figure that shit out, there's a better version of me on the other end. So that's how I look at it. Like, okay, cool. This is another level. This is another fucking boss I have to face.
Just testing
and yeah, I gotta, do the shit that I know and do the shit that I don't know, which is most important, right? So I know how to do it afterwards. So like when I encounter the same problem again, I'll be like, oh, this is what I did in 2023. So let's do the same shit. Let's regroup and hit the target.
Right. And this is again back to the whole goals. Communicating with your partner, hey, look, I've hit this challenge. I need your help. Because what I'm boiling in my brain, asking you may actually help settle the bubbling of thoughts and worries and stress, and vice versa. You may give me a different perspective, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm over here stressing over nothing.
Yeah, that has happened.
Same with you, when you've thought about that, I'm like, hey, look, Hakuna Matata.
That also has happened.
Yeah.
At least a couple times this year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a trip.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was a great example.
Yeah.
Manifesting.
Yeah. I manifested a parking spot. Literally right in front today.
How'd you feel?
Honestly, I didn't manifest shit. I just pull up and it's right there. Just literally like, hallelujah.
You're like, yes, she's rubbing up on
like
me.
Like literally as you enter the dead spank center, like just looking at me.
Oh, really?
Like,
that was me too this morning when I went to the gym. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's funny. She's
cars.
good. So I call her a parking witch. I call her a witch in general. Like a good witch. A good witch. Because she always fucking manifests a parking spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine one.
Yeah. The same thing. I got there and it was packed. I'm like, all right. And crazy enough, a car I was turning and there's another car turning and then that one turns in. And right when she turns in, I turn in and then there's a parking spot right there. And I was like, damn it. She's going to take it. Nope. She kept going. I was like, yes. I knew it. It was for me. Anyways, we're going off topic. But yeah, I guess that's it for what was it? Can't see your chicken scratch from here.
Hey, this is not, you're not supposed to see it. These are my podcast notes.
Well,
but what we discussed today was trust and infidelity.
Right, that's past, long gone.
What would you say? Give one thing for each.
Okay.
How to improve trust or get over infidelity. Give
How
one
to
quick advice.
Improve trust. I would say you have to dig deep into yourself. Despite of who else is in your life, who else is in your mind. Because we mirror things. So if you're going to feel insecure about somebody, you're probably going to attract that. So that's what had to go through my mind. Yeah. If I was insecure about you, it would have made me sick. And then I'm probably going to make you do something. So I learned that you have to really have control over your mind.
And you had a lot of reasons.
Yep. I had a lot of reasons.
You took your chances.
Like I said, I trusted myself. And I said, hey, look, you know what? I'm doing this for me. Whether if he changes or not, that's none of my business. I know that I'm doing this for myself. Now I know that if he doesn't, then he wasn't for me. Because I know and value myself. I know what I have to offer. I know the kind of person that I am. I know that the right one is going to be out there for me. Despite of what's happened in my past. And a lot of women, I feel my age, they have that's one of their challenges. And I think that when you have confidence in yourself, nobody can take that from you. When you know who you are, there's nobody that
100%.
But sometimes people lose themselves when they get into a new relationship. And then they got to start all over again. That's why it's back to writing that down. This is who I am. Writing down what you don't like. It's what I don't like about myself. Okay, well then those are the things I need to work on.
Work on. Yeah, you got to work on yourself. Always. 1% better every day. How about getting over infidelity?
Getting it over?
Yeah, quick one about that. Give them something, babe.
You gotta, again, trust yourself.
So you're saying if you don't trust yourself, you won't be able to trust anybody else?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I know a lot of people. Because somebody did something to them, now they think everybody else is going to do that to them.
Everybody. It's hard. It's hard. Because think about it, if you've been cheated on multiple times by different people, that actually raises a question.
Right.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
That can, to society, that, then maybe it's something that's wrong with you. No, maybe it's because I haven't worked on something, that the lessons keep happening because I haven't learned that.
That is you then. If you
because I still
get cheated on multiple times, so maybe you are the problem. You're now accepting certain...
I haven't learned the lesson and trusted myself.
But it comes from the work that you have to do on yourself. So it is you.
Exactly. You have to trust yourself. So if you don't trust yourself, you're going to continue to repeat these cycles of insecurities, infidelity, and just face it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, that didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And I got to work on that. I have to know that what this person did, why is it hurting me? Do I feel insecure about it? Like, we'll bring up that one topic when that one guy came to the bar and asked me to, his wife left him and asking me to rate him. And then I asked him,
that was stupid.
I'm like, you feel insecure already because you don't feel good about yourself. So your wife leaving you, it hurts you even more because you're insecure with yourself. But if you're confident,
left your ass is because you are insecure in yourself.
That's another one.
Yeah, definitely. Insecurities play a big role. You got to be confident in yourself. You can't take that away from a person. That allows you to do so much in life. When you're confident in yourself and your own abilities, when you trust your own opinion, when you learn how to rely on yourself and your own capabilities, when you're independent, truly independent, you can do so much. You don't need anybody's approvals. You don't need anybody's advice when you don't need it. You do it on your own. You take the risk. You take the chance. You take the chance, and you go out there and you do it.
Back to that infidelity question. I think that it's a deeper level of mindset, empathy, because my past, everything that they've done to me, my relationships, I don't hate them.
You gotta be able to forgive.
Like, I can't hate them. I actually appreciate it because it taught me everything that I know now. And it makes me value those relationships because I learned something from them that I will no longer tolerate in the next. And that's why I feel that I had to go through that, and I appreciate it. And when you're grateful, what happens when you're in a gratitude state of being, you just attract more for you. So because I was grateful that those things happened to me, I think it helped heal the wound, the breaks in the heart, and it allowed me to just be whole and be present and appreciate that. And it developed more of my compassion for them than to hate them. So it's your perspective on, hey, look, you did what I was just a crossfire. Just like I'm pretty sure I taught them something.
Hopefully. They haven't learned shit, and then we're going through the same thing over and over again. But it's no longer your problem.
Nope.
And it's no longer my problem either. Oh, damn. We got in deep.
That's what she said. Just kidding.
Now I have to cancel
PG-13.
this whole damn episode. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think it was a good one. And then we discussed a lot of good stuff today. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode because we sat down and we talked about these things. We discussed what are the dynamics that we have in our relationship that has helped our relationship up to this point at least. And I hope you guys found something that you can apply to your relationship. I hope you guys learned something. Most importantly, I hope you guys become a better person in your relationships, in your life every single day. Because at the end of the day, if you stop growing and you start working on yourself, then nothing around you will change for the better. Don't be comfortable. And don't get comfortable in their relationship. Don't just get a girl or get a guy and just stop doing the work. It's important to do the work.
Don't stop having fun.
Yeah, don't stop having fun in a relationship either. Talk smack like we do if you want, which I will as soon as I'm done. Man, I'm better than you at talking shit all day. But anyways, one of these episodes we're gonna hit you guys with some. But I hope you guys found what we talked about useful. All we're trying to do is trying to bring you guys some value. The whole point of my podcast is to bring you guys some value, especially value to men. My fellow men out there. If you found anything useful, or even if you don't like it, shit.
Have any questions?
Yeah, if you have any questions, drop it in the comment box. Please help me out. Spread the word. Click the like button. Share with your friends, with your loved ones. Share with your hater if they want to. And subscribe. That helps me to grow. Helps me to share with your exes. Yeah, they're no longer your problem.
But hey, if you're feeling compassionate,
yeah, get like a burner phone, a random number, Google number, and just share this thing.
Look, you might need this.
Maybe I should send this to my ex.
Hey,
that would be a bad idea. That would be a bad fucking idea. No, don't share with your ex. But yeah, click like, share, and subscribe. Show us some love if you find this episode useful. If you learned something, my goal here is to bring you guys value and give back, because I was given a lot by the people who are still in my life and help me become the person that I am. Babe, thank you for this episode.
Thank you for having me.
It was a good discussion. We're going to be back on the his and hers. And you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.
Toodles.
Toodles.